LM Studio's models come in wildly different sizes. They start around 2 gigabytes and some of them run past 100. I picked one of the bigger ones the first time, hit download, walked away for a few hours, and came back to find almost half my hard drive gone. But the model that finally fit still couldn't answer the one question I actually needed solved that day, and I ended up typing it into a browser tab instead. I never opened LM Studio again that afternoon. Deloitte's 2024 Connected Consumer Survey found that close to half of people, 48%, hit at least one security or privacy failure using a digital service, up from 34% in 2023. That's part of why more people are turning to local tools like LM Studio. It's a free desktop app for Mac, Windows, and Linux built so developers and non-technical users can both run the same thing. You download open source models from Hugging Face, and once they're on your machine, an engine called Llama CPP runs them with no internet connection required, using metal acceleration if you're on Apple Silicon, no subscription. One reviewer on Reddit said the interface made working with local models easier than the command line without burning through subscription credits. On the one question everyone actually means when they type safe, the answer is genuinely yes. Your prompts don't leave the building. But running it assumes your machine can carry it first. LM Studio wants at least 16 gigabytes of memory, 32 recommended for the bigger models. Without a strong graphics card or Apple Silicon, inference runs noticeably slower than it would on a cloud service. Even once the hardware clears, the models themselves run from 2 gigabytes to over 100, and getting good performance means learning settings like GPU offload, context windows, and quantization, terms most people have never had to touch before. One Product Hunt reviewer called the interface absolutely beautiful and super easy to set up and start using. None of that changes what has to be inside the machine underneath it. That's the wall a lot of people hit right away. The privacy pitch wasn't overhyped, it just was not built to run well on a budget machine. The second problem has nothing to do with memory. LM Studio only runs open source models pulled from Hugging Face. It cannot match the most advanced reasoning you get from something like ChatGPT 5.5 or Claude Opus 4.8 for the tasks that need that extra reasoning power. The local option was safe. It just could not match the top cloud models on raw reasoning. For everyday use on a machine that can handle it, LM Studio remains a solid pick and exactly the kind of tool more people are turning to. LM Studio also runs as a local server with OpenAI-compatible endpoints. Past the chat interface, other applications on your machine can connect straight into the models you have already downloaded. That is a genuinely useful capability for anyone building on top of local models. Other software can call your downloaded models the same way an app might call it Cloud AI Service, without you touching the chat window at all. Elephas takes on that same question about whether it's actually private, just from a different angle. It's a privacy-first AI knowledge assistant for Mac, iPhone, and iPad that provides built-in local LLM models, so the same on-device privacy LM Studio offers shows up right inside the apps you already use, instead of a separate window you have to switch to. It works across Mail, Slack, and every other Mac app with the same simple keyboard shortcut. Superbrain reads more than 20 file formats, including your own PDFs and Word docs, and answers with the source cited, right down to which document it came from, not a generic guess. Smart Redaction runs on every plan, including the free one, so sensitive text gets stripped before anything is sent anywhere. And when you do want cloud reasoning for the harder questions, ChatGPT 5.5 and Claude Opus 4.8 are sitting right in the same window instead of a separate tab. It starts at $19 a month with a free trial to test before you commit. That afternoon, the drive that lost half its space and the question it still couldn't answer were never about privacy. One was the hardware LM Studio asks for. The other was the reasoning it can't reach. On privacy, the answer really is yes. Prompts stay on the machine, no cloud, no subscription. That was never the part in doubt. What decided it was that the tool I installed to keep my work off the internet sent me back to the internet anyway. I never opened it again that afternoon. I just stayed in the tab I'd already switched to. LM Studio still does everything it set out to do. It discovers, downloads, and runs open source models with real GPU acceleration through an interface reviewers call beautiful and easy to use. That combination fairly earns its 4.3 rating. That's part of why this review ends with Elephas. It works across all the Mac apps you already use instead of keeping you inside a separate desktop window. The linked article covers what LM Studio does well, where it asks more of your hardware and how it compares to Elephas and a few other local AI tools. Subscribe if this saved you the read.